Good morning, everybody out there in Two Legs Sunday land. Good afternoon, good evening. Andy Nichols here from Two Legs, back in the Sunday live slot here with you all at the end of August. It's been a couple of weeks, so happy to be back here in the old chair, in the old slot. It's just good to be back again. I was actually off a week with the Fest schedule. I should have gone live last Sunday, but that was coming back from Fest, and we all needed a recharge after that one. So I've kind of flipped the rotation to be what this is now. But it's good to be back here again. And thanks for everybody popping in here on the comments early on. Tony D, Rick, MVP, Mike, Lynn, Jeff, Joe Mantaneo, Mr. Martinez. Hello, Jack Sutton, fellow New Jersey native. Hello, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is one of those, it's official, one of those official Beatle ones, you know. So, yeah. Try to class it up a little bit here on Sundays. Sunday morning breakfast. There you go. On my second cup. Wow. So, what's everybody been up to? Pre-ordered. Ted's here. Hello, Ted. Pre-orders, one announcement after the other. Last week we get an announcement. Everybody's pissed off. Then we get another announcement, but we'll get to all that. We will get to all that. Is that Susan's here? Hi, Susan. Hope you're feeling well. And I hope you're doing well and just chilling out with music. Hello, Secret Agent Paul. Yeah, it's good to be back. It really is. Now that we've put the dust on the Chicago Fest. Joan, the number one fan on the run, Joan Borelli. You're a Swiftie. I love that, man. I'm not a Swiftie, but I love that you are. I did see some meme that said total number of people dominating on the charts, and the Beatles had like 132 weeks, and she's at like 68 or something like that. But hey, listen, I love it. Beatles in Hamburg. There you go. Yeah. It's been quiet. It's been quiet on the tour front, which is fine. We'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah, well, does the NFL start next week, or is it the week after? Once that starts, I think I might bump up the start times to 11 o'clock to be done around 1 Eastern. But I don't think the NFL starts next weekend, does it? I'm so not into tune with it yet. I will be in a couple of weeks, though, for about 6 weeks before the Giants suck, and then they're not even watchable anymore. Joan can watch her Eagles and root for them. Hey, peace and love, Joan. She's a Philly girl, but we love her anyway. NFL starts Thursday after Labor Day. Okay, so yeah, well, I won't go live next Sunday because it's every other now. So yeah, the next Sunday that I will be going live would be the 7th. So it would be an earlier start time, probably about 11 o'clock, and I'd go to about 1 and then go watch the Giants get massacred for 30 minutes and then repeat and just do the same thing over and over again. So they have gone undefeated in the preseason. Not that means anything. Exactly. I'm not feeling it. Hello there, Mr. Hunyadi. Well, we're going to get to that. Yeah. Sorry about that. That sucks. Ted's scheduled Who concert in AC was postponed last night. AC and the Philly shows were both postponed. Now, the MVP and I saw them Tuesday night. When was that? Tuesday? Tuesday. She's in the other room. Tuesday, we saw the Who at Newark, and it was awesome. What a great show. Roger slips a little bit. I'm going to be honest. Roger slips with the lyrics and the timing. But, I mean, it was a good show. I mean, here's a picture I got right from the front row. You know? I mean, I think that's a good picture of them both having a nice light moment, you know? It was good to see. I mean, I've only seen the Who twice before this. So, they don't tour a lot. And when they did, I wasn't able to go, you know? So it was nice to go see them. It really was. And there's the MVP and I backstage in the VIP area. And I got to give a big, big thank you to Jeff Slate for that. I mean, he was such a great, he's like, sure, no problem. And he hooked us up with that. So thank you very much, Jeff, for that. And we're going to go again to Madison Square Garden on August 30th to see them play their last show at the Garden. Yeah, it's it's not. It's not. Yeah. Really, really nice of him to do that. So we'll go again. Tony says Caitlin Larkin was on with Joe. They can't play multi. It's a rule, which stinks. But you've got your own Paul catalog if you want to play all that stuff. Yeah. But we'll go and see. They do a new kind of take on The Song Is Over, which is what they close their show with. They don't play it as as the song is on the album. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a different arrangement with different lyrics. But to check that box and go see a Who concert and have that kind of privilege is pretty awesome and very, very appreciative for Jeff to hook me up with that. So let's talk Lennon and let's talk Beatles. Okay. And we are going to have a guest on here in a couple of minutes. Join me, who shares in the Anthology 90s nostalgia like I do. I mean, we've been texting a lot these last couple of days because we're both on the same page with that. And I'm talking about none other than David Gargolino, the former co-host of Two Legs. Tom does not share the same enthusiasm for the Beatles or the Anthology period as David or I do. So happy to have him on. But yeah, morning, buddy. But I know you're just not he's not as much into it. He's not a big fan of Free as a Bird. And, we differ on that. I think the Anthology, I guess because of our ages, maybe means a little bit more to us. And we'll bring him on in a minute to really kind of dial down, just dial in with the Anthology. Yes, I've got that coming because I signed up for the Hooligan Supreme fan club thing. And that gave you early access to buy the tickets, which I did. And with that package, you get Live at the Oval, 2 LP splatter, a T-shirt, a license plate, and a badge. So I know it's streaming, but I'll wait for that to arrive, which I think is coming tonight. Hello, Neil from Aberdeen in Scotland. Well, we'll get to that, Joe. We'll get to that. It's okay. 13 tracks, we'll take it, but wish it could have been a little bit more. James says, I'm excited with the Lennon box set. I'm disappointed with the Anthology contents. I have a hard time and a lack of newer content like they do with, yeah. And we're going to get to all the Anthology stuff. Plus, we will always end the show with that Macca Trivia. I've got a couple of Beatles Anthology-related trivia questions in today's show, which will kick off today's show. But there's 20 questions. And as we get towards the end of the show, we will go on with trivia, and hopefully Mr. Duke Viking can help me keep score at home and who sees to win. Hello, buddy. You mean of the Anthology stuff? I have not pre-ordered anything yet because I'm going to wait. And I'm probably going to get it on Amazon. I'm not going to go for the exclusive thing on the Beatles.com to get 4 postcards for $400 and something. I'm not going to do that. I mean, you've got to pick and choose. I will get the vinyl and I will get the CDs, both from Amazon. And not for nothing, we've all ordered plenty from Beatles or Lennon and stuff. And rarely does it come on the day of the release. With Amazon, you buy that thing. It should come. If you have Prime, you will get it on release day. So for the Anthology, I will stick to Prime for that. I don't need 4 postcards for $30 extra. I've got quite the fall coming up here with this kind of Andy on tour with Paul thing. I mean, I'm nowhere near a Joan Bareilles, but I'm going to 7 shows. I'm going to 7 Paul concerts between October and November. So I'll get the Anthology when I'm ready. I'm not ready to get the Anthology just yet. Yeah, I did comment on a little bit earlier, just a couple of minutes, but I showed a picture, and if you want to scroll back, Matt, I did talk about it a little bit. Lynn has not listened to the Anthology stuff since it came out. We'll dive back in. That's what I've been doing these last couple of days. I think all of us have, dusting them off the shelf, streaming, whatever. And they're all, and all the remasters now are out streaming. Susan says the upcoming anthology in 1995 was the second coming of the first Ed Sullivan Show. And exactly, that is a first generation take. My dad says the same thing. Rick says you ordered the vinyl anthology and the Lennon CD deluxe. Now for the Power to the People, I ordered the 9 CD. I ordered the 9 CD deluxe. I haven't ordered any vinyl configurations yet. I will probably eventually get the 4 LP Power to the People too. And if you watched one of our most recent Hands Across the Water, myself and my partners, Kyle and Tony, really chewed the fat on that and kind of gave a generational take on that song. And it was a very, very good discussion. And that generated a lot of thought on that song, where we are in 2025. So you wonder, was this anthology release always going to be this past week? Or was the negative press with the Power to the People box come out, and with that song not being on there, did Apple say, okay, let's take the stink off this announcement and rush the Beatles release out and make it all, sunshine and rainbows again? They might have done that. They might not have. I don't know. 3 is your favorite. My favorite still is 1. My favorite, and I have a couple of copies here. I have 1 and 2 in like this long box that are sealed that I've had for a long, long time. You don't see them in these formats too often with the boxes like this. So I have a couple, but these babies I'll leave sealed. I don't have 3 like this though, just 1 and 2. $20. Forget what year I got them. Leave My Little Kitten Alone, the song that should have been on Beatles for Sale instead of Mr. Moonlight. Absolutely. Yes. 7 shows. Yep. Minneapolis, Tulsa. I'm sorry. Vegas, Minneapolis, Tulsa, San Antonio, Nashville, and 2 in Montreal with the fam. So that is my fall tour. Andy and Paul on the run. We're going to do some content too while we're out on the road. I'll do some with Tom. Going to do some stuff with Kyle and Tony on Hands Across the Water, vlog type stuff with that too, from the road, as much as I can, and even maybe get Joan on there too, because we're going to be going to just about I think we're going to all the same shows except I think Tulsa. So look for the fam to be together. The 2 LP colored vinyl. Yeah. Yep. And the MVP, of course, is coming to Nashville and Montreal for the back end of the tour. Sandwiched in between all those concerts, we've got Bryan Adams on October 30th at the Garden. So it's going to be quite a heavy fall for that. So let me make sure I just catch up on the comments. Absolutely. The demo of a hard. Yes, it is. You know what? He probably did. Or if he hasn't removed it, he's probably lowered it, because the sax is so prominent on that album. You can't take it out. You want to take it out at the end of One Day at a Time? Fine. I don't think you can take the sax out of the music on that album. It's too much. It's like in the concert too. It's too prevalent. You can't cut it. You just can't cut it out at all. So as we continue and move on, I would like to bring on the Sunday Live show the co-host, the first co-host and co-creator of Two Legs. And it was, it's kind of happy to, he passed the torch to me in 2019, and here we are. And we'll always be, grateful for him for starting this, because he started it, and without him, I wouldn't be here. So let's bring on David Gargolino. Hello, David.
What's up, Andy? How's it going?
Good to see you, brother. And thanks for hopping on the Sunday. This is your first time, I think, on the Sunday show.
Yeah, thank you for the invite. Mm-hmm. I'm just, as giddy as you are about this recent announcement, and like you and I were in the same generation, so similar age group. So this is kind of like coming back home.
Absolutely, man. Because we were both into it at the time. So I'm sure we've both been able to kind of dive back down into that our kind of teenage year rabbit hole of what this meant, like what this was for us at the time.
Let me unmirror my camera.
Let me catch up on the comments here. William says ticket prices they are, but you have to know that going in, and you accept it or you don't. We accept it. Hello there, James. Sunday's on the phone to Monday. Always is. Thanks for being here today. James, did you coordinate with Tony on the book yet? I don't know if Tony has shipped it yet, but do let me know if that's happened. I did forward him the address, so hopefully that book is on the way to you. And you got the three anthology albums in high res. Okay. Susan says the Power of the People box is $216 at Bull Moose, but with free economy shipping. $239, I think, is what I do. David, did you pre-order any of that?
Yeah, I did the 12 disc box set from Amazon.
Power of the People?
Yeah. I did that last week. And I usually get some stuff from like import CDs. They come from like the same area in Kentucky, but there really wasn't much of a discount. But Bull Moose looks a little tempting, maybe $20 cheaper. But
they charge you right away, though.
That's true. Like Amazon, I'm going to see if it drops maybe $20-$30, but that'll be at my doorstep hopefully the day of. So it's a balance. I didn't see much of a. So like the Lennon box set last year, it was like $167 on Amazon. I got on import CDs for $106, and it came the day after the release. So
Mind Games.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking with Amazon right now.
Yeah. Now, see, with Lennon, I just said I'm going to go Amazon for the anthologies, but for the Lennon, I bought that from johnlennon.com. Let's see how that happens. Will it come on release day, or will it a couple days later? It all depends on where things get shipped from,
Yeah.
James says I was 14 when Anthology first came out, same, and now I'm almost 15. Who's paying those prices in Tulsa? I am. I'll be there. Tulsa had plenty of hot sound left, and I've never been to Tulsa. It's a chance to go see the Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan museums too. So that was an easy decision to go there. Never been, and it's a chance to see a new city. Interesting these cities he's playing this time around. It really is. You wouldn't think he would be playing these spots, but yes, come on. Let's see here. James hasn't heard anything about the book yet. Okay, I'll double check. James loves the 2025 Free as a Bird, although I still, of course, accept the 95 mix as it was the most. Of course. Let's talk about that. Now we've had a chance to hear the remix, and a lot of people are like, I missed the ghostly aspect of the first one. Come on. What do you think?
My 2 cents? Yeah. Okay, so if they didn't do it enough of an extreme on this remix, people were like, what was the point? I think it's the next evolution from the 2015.
Yes.
And Jeff remixed that as well, and he's remixing this one. And the technology you can to improve those tapes or find the first generation tape, they had some time. And it is, like I was texting you and Tom, like the depth in the track, he's up there with Paul. You might just have John at the microphone. So yes, it's stark, and I think Real Love is going to be even more starker. Because it's so clean, it's going to kind of a jolt to the ear. Where, when you got John in the 95 release, when they recorded 94, it kind of feels like John was like from the ether out there, a ghost. But yeah, I mean, that's, of course, they're keeping the Anthology 1, 2, and 3 pretty much the same. So you get both the, maybe the remastered 95 and the remix 25.
Right.
I have no complaints. There's, it's going to feel different, right? It's going to feel like, wow, it's jolting to some people, but that's the evolution of technology. And so they employed it what they did, now and then. So I love it,
Yeah, it's what we had. Again, it's what you're used to, right? Like any piece of music or any book or anything or any media, it's like putting on like an old glove, right? Or an old jacket. It just feels good. And when you hear something that's different, you're like, oh, but instantly your take is to go, but I like the old way better. Well, you've got both. With all these songs, with all these remixes, like we've said ad nauseum on these shows, they don't go away. You have the choice to listen to whatever you want, whenever you want. My only question is when it comes to like programming for radio or streaming, that's where a little bit of a McGillicuddy happen with like what version
Well,
are
did
we
they replace it? Or,
what are we putting on these services that are going to be on there? Is it going to like that is where I could see people going, well, that's not the version that's available. Physical media junkies like us, no problem.
Yeah.
But moving forward, you know, and I just use Walrus Gate from 2023, right, on the Blue album, which I thought was fantastic. Some people fucking hated that song, that remix. At what point does that become the version that you go to on these services where people are like, that's wrong? And that becomes the question.
Yeah, I'm surprised on those services you don't keep like the 09 remasters as it's one, upload collection. You just go to it, and then you go, 2023 red and blue. It's up there. It shouldn't. One should not like eliminate the other.
No, they should all be there. They should all be there available. You want to hear 2023 remixes? You want to hear 09 remasters? Just make it all available, and you could still. It's up to the consumer to then differentiate and go into it.
So, I mean, that's why I think they kept Anthology 1, 2, and 3 pretty much the same track. And they're not just putting the 25 mix as the intro to track 1 on Anthology 1 and track 1 on Anthology 2. I mean, they're giving you both. It's 30 years in. Those are so canon to that album at this point.
Let's catch up here. Susan says she hated John's vocals on the 95 Fruza, but the clarity. It is. But you can't hate. Oh, well, I mean, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. But I mean, yes, it sounded ghostly. It sounded like, wow, they're really they're grasping at straws here to make a recording out of something that was really not that good. But we're Beatles people. We'll take it, right? And we ate it up. We watched the video. We loved the song. Most of us loved it. And, appreciated it for what it was. If technology can enhance something and make it even better, MVP and I just listened to both on the deck last night because she hadn't AB'd them. I'm like, listen to the first one, then listen to the new one. And she was like, wow, I love the new one because it's so much clearer. So James says you have to take into account that it wasn't a proper vocal take, so it was vocalization. Yeah, but it is. They just applied that now and then thing. His voice is way up, and it's like you can hear him and Paul equally now. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
James says, good point, Andy. For example, I prefer the 2000. Agree. Yeah. I agree with that. I really agree with that because, Dad, can you just text Scott and let him know what the ETA is? Tell him I'm live right now. What's your ETA? Dad, just tell him what the deal is. The All Things Must Pass 50th. It has not aged as well as that 2001. Or Mom, you text him. Thank you. Tony says he has both versions of I'm the Walrus on vinyl. How pissed off are people about not being able to buy Volume 4 individually? What's your take on that, David? That really sucks. It does.
It doesn't bother me personally. I can understand that you'll if someone is a vinyl junkie, will spend close to $400 after tax and shipping.
Yeah.
But the thing is, okay, I'm going to put some perspective back in the 90s. Okay, you had to go to Music Land or Sam Goody to hear like 5 preview tracks to hear anything. And the day it came out, you had to buy it or you weren't going to hear it. I think Anthology 4 will be out there in YouTube world when they upload it to their channel and the Spotify's and whatever. If you're a physical guy, yeah, you're like, well, I'm going to have to buy the $100 8 CD set or the $350 to $400 vinyl. I know why they put an Anthology 4 on, because they didn't want to overlay Frieza Burn Real Love on the Canon sets. It's difficult to say. Like, it would pretty much kill the box set if they just piecemealed it, but it would give people a chance to like, I'll just get Anthology 4. It's a, from a business perspective, it's a slippery slope. I'm just happy there's an Anthology 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, unfortunately, that's the business thing these days.
Listen, it sucks. I mean, and the fact that you can stream it and go with, you said, YouTube Land, and you want to hear Volume 4 that bad, but people like us are suckers and we're going to buy it. We're going to get it to have it again. And it does, but it does really suck. I got to say, and like I said, with Beatley Tone, over the weekend with his live stream. This is a bad move on their part to not do this and make this available, because the Beatles have always been value.
Yeah,
it's always been about value, and now they're like, no, you have to buy this box set to get this.
But the thing is, like on the early press release, they were saying Anthology 1, 2, and 3 are remixed, and that is sort of true. But they kind of just, there's a complexity to that wording where they just went back to remaster. And you and I know there are tracks that have been improved.
Yes.
So it's not just a sheen of we're just going to put a remastering label on this. Hey, how's it going?
The MVP.
There actually is stuff there. It's kind of similar, like the BBC Volume 1 that got reissued in 2013. They didn't call it a remix; they called it a remaster. But there was improved sources. So if you buy the box set, you are getting updated tracks that have been improved.
They have to be improved, right?
Yeah. I mean, we heard it. We heard some of those early pre-62 tracks. You could hear bass and drums on like the early, like the 58 or 60.
Yeah, all the stuff recorded in Liverpool, all that stuff. It just would have been really, if they were really treated with, proper mal. Now, I have one of my friends here, Nick, he sent a message. He A-B'd the new remaster and the old remaster. And here's the changes he found, if you allow me to just read this off real quick. Speech tracks have been cleaned up. All the Lennon and Epstein, they've been cleaned up. That'll Be the Day and In Spite of All the Danger are mono mal remixes with a slight stereo ambiance effect. Okay. Following tracks have been remixed in mono with mal. Hallelujah, I Love Her So, You'll Be Mine, Cayenne, I'll Get You, Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, Rock and Roll Music, and She's a Woman. And then the other live tracks that have been remixed in stereo with mal, Twist and Shout, All My Loving, and Help. So, I mean, Nick sounds like he did his homework on this, and if anybody's out there has done, I mean, it's streaming now. You can get it.
Yeah.
Have you listened to it? Have you listened to it in like detail yet? Thank you, MVP.
No, not other than that Wednesday when things were popping up on Instagram. If I see some tracks, I'll listen to it, but I haven't searched them out. Nick is kind of on point with what people are saying on the music forum we both kind of follow. So
right,
there is stuff. I just think maybe the terminology remix, people would expect like drastic stuff on all the tracks, but there was work done on this.
There was work done on them. It'll be really interesting to see how much work went into it when we actually.
I think this is like a 2 to 3, 4 year project. Because we got to consider all the audio that's being improved on the documentary, the 9-episode documentary. I mean, you're looking at like 11 hours worth of stuff. And a lot of those cutaway to old videos, those had to be improved. So, yeah, to me, so like, it's still like a dream that we're getting an Anthology 4 and a trilogy set. Because I remember back even in middle school, there was this rumor like, oh yeah, there's going to be like an Anthology 4. And I'm like, no, there's Anthology 1, 2, and 3 from an audio perspective. And that's the trilogy. I'm not sure people were confusing it with like episode 4 on VHS, but I'm like, no, this isn't, And so then the term Anthology 4 has always been in my periphery in my life. I'm like, oh my God, they actually, because, we all like kind of hypothesize maybe they're going to dumb it down and just give us like Anthology 4 as its standalone release. And because there's so much track,
right.
So many tracks. So now they're grouping it together. Like here, I understand why they released some previously released outtakes, because right now in this remix era, that's the definitive outtakes you're getting from those albums. They're not going to just find a random new White Album track and add it on here, because then you would have the super deluxe. You're like, well, that's sort of incomplete now. So this bridges the past to the future, which is a good thing, because okay, you're getting like Tell Me Why, If I Fell. Okay,
right.
There's going to be a Hard Day's Night super deluxe edition, maybe in 2028 or 29. I'm just hypothesizing, but that is a good sign. Probably by the early next decade, this release might be redundant. It might already be on.
It might be, and you make a good point there. And on our next episode of Hands Across the Water, which drops tomorrow, the Hand made a really good point. He was like, look, he goes, if those early albums, if there's not a lot available, give us the best of it in an expanded, rebranded anthology, and just give us like the remix album, mono stereo, and that's it. Like if the well is dry with bonus tracks and outtakes from Please Please Me, With the Beatles, Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale and Help, then just put the best of what's available in a rebranded, expanded anthology and just give us those albums remixed, mono stereo, and call it a day. I agreed with that.
But I know for a fact, and I physically have stuff. There's plenty of stuff out there. I don't think they care about going track 1, 2, 3 to 7 of a single song, but
right,
because there's only so much that survived from Please Please Me. So you might have 6 or 7 songs, and it might give you a couple outtakes each. But there is stuff out there. They have not hit the bottom of the well yet.
They haven't. And you're a big collector, and we've traded stuff, and you have the stuff. It's out there. I mean,
oh yeah. I
mean, just off the top of my head, like all those like false starts of Hold Me Tight from With the Beatles where Paul messes up. Like, give me put those out there, like where he's just go pissed off. I mean, some of that stuff is snuck out.
Well, it might not be the Beatles' favorite song, and it might not get out. But if you got Troubles, so they have it on Anthology too, which is a little bit more upbeat, there's more reverb ambient. I have like 15 takes of that song, and it was really slowed down in the first version, they might call it.
Right.
Maybe it's not a top tier song on that album or outtake, but it's out there, and you're like, oh wow, that actually might have been better on the Anthology, the slower version.
Right.
It was very dry, and then it just kind of became this very ambient version they put out there. But yeah, man, I'm so excited. Like it's, we're talking about the audio, but like the documentary stuff,
which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Let me catch up on some comments here. Okay. Lynn says that she never watched the Anthology film, so I'm looking forward to. Oh wow!
You're in for a treat.
You're in for a treat, Lynn.
This is from the horse's mouth. There's no talking heads.
No, the way it should be done. Let them tell. The only other people that we want to hear from is Neil and George Martin and Derek Taylor.
Yeah,
that's it.
The family.
That's it.
Yeah.
Peter, hi Peter. He doubts Anthology 4 would sell individually. Listen. Beatles product will always be sold. Susan says Volume 4 would make for a good records tour day release next April. November would hurt box set sales. Yeah, we talked about that too. That would piss a lot of people off too if they made it available.
So after. They never pieced out the Capitol Records set last year for the Beatles story. So
they did not. James says the aggravating thing is how much of Volume 4 has been called the deluxe sets, and that's a fudge. And that's basically the second disc. We have most of that already.
Well, so there are a good amount of tracks that never hit vinyl.
Yes.
Obviously, stuff hit CD because after the White Album, everything was mirrored CD and vinyl. So you're going to get a lot of White Album stuff that's never hit vinyl.
That's true, because a lot of that stuff we didn't. What you got on vinyl was the Easter demos. So I wish that's one thing. I wish they would have mirrored everything. Keep it the same. Whatever you wish on CD, make it available on vinyl, and they have not done that.
Well, going back to Tom's point on an episode you guys talked about, or people talking about they need like a committee for like marketing, and like Giles Martin said, they get by winging it. There is no focus group for this company, and that might be the ethos of like they didn't have a plan when they were the Beatles. It's just like if a certain album was this way, we're going to release it, and the next album doesn't have any bearing on the last one. So, but they learned along the way how these sets are kind of morphed into, for better, for worse, in my perspective. I mean, the whole point of the remix is to finally get stuff on 5.1 at the time.
Yes.
And then they gave you a DVD and a Blu-ray and the Sgt. Pepper. And then the White Album, they gave you the mono on the Blu-ray,
right?
As a reference, because you couldn't put. I mean, that was a lot more disc if you put the mono, and there's no video on that. And then it kind of got to the point where the Blu-ray kind of disappeared because it was kind of more exclusive to Apple for Revolver. So things are morphing, but that bothers me. Just give us, if people are willing to buy the box set physically because it's out there for free at all the streaming sites and YouTube. put everything in there. But
yeah. Agreed. Elliot, haven't seen you here in a while. Good to see you, brother.
100%.
Instrumental Hey Bulldog excites me. That's going to sound fantastic. The take one of In My Life, can't wait to hear that. That's going to be pretty special.
Unbooted. I don't have that.
That's not, yeah, you don't have
2
that.
and 3.
Let me go back to the comments here and catch back up. James says, as we talked about that. Matt says, and Matt, I hope you're drinking from your brand new 2 Legs mug that got shipped via Patreon. Thank you. Hope you're having that today on a Sunday. New shiny mixes are great and welcome. I will most likely buy them, but they will never supplant the original mixes. Fair. James says maybe do a highlights thing with Paul. Yeah, I can't see them doing that with this release. Tony wants tracks from Get Back sessions. James says the CD singles from Freeze the Bird and Real Love aren't on 4, which is silly.
I think
one is This Boy. This Boy
12 and 13. Yeah.
This Boy is on there. Of course, James. Let's not forget the Ruddles Archaeology. That's how you put a collection together. I am sure that will be on there. I am sure. Buddy, when I heard that Anthology was the project this year, I didn't expect anything to be expanded, so I'm happy either way, even if some of it has been previously released. Yep, the well isn't dry. Certainly not. Buddy says, my favorite part of this release is Freezeberg reaching their full potential as songs with the technology. Agreed. Bit Song. What burned me with Beatles deluxe box sets was I was very satisfied with buying the CD version for Surround BD. Standalone LPs until Revolver screwed me. Now I'm out for multiple. Okay. Maybe if we're lucky, they'll add Sigourney Weaver. Please. No.
I can tell you for the fact that even if they're going to pull new scenes, there's no talking heads other than the family.
Which is fine. And listen, we haven't even gotten to that episode 9. That episode, this 9th episode, which is going to be fantastic. I know Disney's going to release these in 3-part episodes.
I'm going to go backwards.
Let's do 9. Let's watch the 9th one first. Hopefully that's like a nice 3-hour episode. And we just I want to see Paul, George, and Ringo singing and working on Free as a Bird and Real Love. I want to see the harmonies. I want to see them at the microphone harmonizing and singing with John on that tape from 1994. That's what I want to see. I really want to see that. Still want to know about the boat. Those parts of the anthology are great. Guy's got a camera in Paul's face and he's just sitting there driving a boat. When he tells that Rubber Soul story, when the cover falls down, can you make it like that? Rubber Soul. Love that.
Well, it's his boat, and then he's also on his Land Rover. On his farm. Land
Rover. Then he's sitting in the woods, and people are like, "Let's have 4K of the firewood and the burning and in the woods." And oh man, Ali says, if they continue the Super Deluxes for every remaining album, I expect there to be nothing exclusive of Volume 4. Then all the tracks would appear on future SDs. Yes.
Well, aside from Real Love and Freeze a Bird.
James says that Pete Best, Alan Williams, and Alan Klein should have been interviewed, but no way. Well, Pete Best was directly involved with it because he appears he's on it, okay? And obviously Neil through everything. I think we know Pete was taken care of. There is no way Alan Klein was going to be allowed to touch this project, with a 10-foot pole. Are you kidding me?
So with that being said by James, I mean, in the director's cut I have, or the rough cut in the anthology, they talked more about Yoko Ono and the later part of the documentary. They cut that out in the final version,
Yeah.
So they're definitely not going to bring Alan Williams and Alan Klein into it. So
no. Yeah, and that director's cut's out there. You can watch it. It's available. That's what you have on. Do you have it physically, David, or online?
Yeah, I bought a press version of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in a box set similar to the released one.
Yeah. So let me see here. Elvin says at least the Shea Stadium film, only the concert, no opening acts, is in the anthology documentary, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it is. And that's a new cleaned up AI version of that just popped up on YouTube in the last day or so. I don't know if you saw that, but that's out there too. Mike asks what else is unbooted. Well, that's the boot king to my right.
Yeah. Officially unbooted or just unbooted? I mean, I have a Magical Mystery Tour box that I bought last year on the gray market, but I think Baby You're the Rich Man has been unbooted. We haven't heard just the strings and brass take 19 for I'm the Walrus.
Right.
Hey Bulldog hasn't been booted for instrumental. In My Life's not. No. And first version, so it might be a different tempo. You know, you see in Revolver, like Got to Get You My Life, there's a couple versions.
Yeah.
And takes from there.
How about this Nowhere Man first version take 2? That's going to be fantastic.
That's what I'm saying. That hasn't been booted either.
That hasn't been booted. I mean, so there's 13 tracks. There's 13 tracks on this 36 set of volume 4. 13.
I Need You Take 1. I mean, you know, that's a nice
take 1 of I Need You from Help. I mean, every little thing.
Every little thing.
7. Come on, like
Matchbox. If I Fell.
Right.
Tell me why.
I mean, there's enough on here to give us to be excited about, but of course, you always want more. Something else that I wanted to float past you and the Sunday fam here. I would have thought it would, and I think Tony and I agree on this. If you took these tracks and then you resequenced them in the anthology and expand it, yes or no?
Well, so I mean, they sort of did that with the Red and Blue, but
right,
you know, we're talking about 191 tracks here, and I think they consider Anthology Canyon.
That's what we were saying, Canon. And they're not going to mess it up now, right?
Yeah, that's where we all thought kind of they were just going to dumb it down to a single disc like Anthology 4, because that's a lot of work. Yeah, you're shifting everything because you can't add more to it. I mean, you're going to have like the BBC Volume 1 from 94 with like 17 tracks on side 1. They weren't going to do that. That affected the fidelity of that. But that's how we got Anthology 4. They're like, here, we're going to give the incentive to buy this again.
They had no problem doing that, though, for the Red and Blue on CD. They resequenced that.
That is true.
You know, they totally, I mean, if the anthologies are being treated as canon, you're telling me the Red and Blues aren't considered? If anything, those are more canon. I mean, it's all, and now that, you know, I think that they probably could have taken these tracks and sprinkled them back into the other 3 volumes and have a 4th disc if you had to, or an extra, or a 3rd CD, or a 4th record in the set if you had to.
Yeah, but it shifts like the original trilogy. You're not, you know, like bad analogy with Star Wars. I mean, I don't know. It's like you're not moving the original stuff to a bonus disc of the movie. We'll give you a bonus disc of that. Bad analogy, but like I think because these things are set up as a trilogy, you're going to shift that trilogy into a 4th disc. I think it was cleaner for them just to add the 4th disc. Kind of represents the past to the future. Like, here's some stuff that we have already with the new mixes. Because where would you put Real Love and Free as a Bird? You wouldn't put them back to back. It would almost have to replace the original ones.
The originals. You'd have to put the new remixes and Now and Then.
I mean, people are thinking now and then. People are thinking Now and Then on Anthology 3, which that should have been the original shoehorned home for it, but it shifts everything. And yeah, again, I think every release has its own, like, you know, decision. It's nothing based on what happened, but there, you know, Apple's an interesting, their logic's really interesting, you know, and it kind of throws people for a loop. I don't think people thought this was going to be released like this. So yeah, I'm equally as excited for the audio as the video. I think I'm actually a little bit more excited to see the upscaled documentary and that 9th episode, because we know the audio. I mean, we have it streaming. What's this improved documentary going to look like with 30 years? I mean, Peter Jackson, I mean, cleaning all this stuff up, upscaling this footage from the aspect and changing the aspect ratio now for modern flat screen TVs, all that stuff. I mean, look what he did with footage from 1969 with Get Back. You know, this is going to look beautiful when we watch this on Disney Plus. You know, it is a blessing that Peter Jackson came into the world maybe 2017, 2018. And we get that news in January of 2019 of he's working on the Get Back sessions.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, I think they would probably continue with the super deluxe editions, you know. But my God, we got Now and Then. You know, that's funny because Now and Then right now just seems so like passe. It's like, oh yeah, it's at the end of this anthology set, but it's like, look how far we came. 2 years ago, it was like, when is it going to drop? You know,
Right.
And now it's just kind of like, it's not even the big deal anymore. But you got like the earliest recordings from 58 to their last one in 23. I mean, it's just incredible.
It is. Let me catch up on some comments here. James says, can the Mal technology make George smile more? Well, George, you know, sometimes he was, you know, funny, and then some other times he was like pissed, as we know, and just angry.
Well, you know, they caught him at a difficult time in the early 90s with the lawsuit with, you know, Handmade Films. So, but he knew, like, yeah, let's get together because it'll be financially helpful. And
he needed to. He needed to do this, which sucks.
Yeah.
You know, you hate to see a decision to issue a project be based down to finances, but I mean, that's kind of what happened here.
I don't think he would have had his house still if he didn't do this.
No.
So
it sucks that it had to come from hey, I need money, so we're going to do this project, instead of let's do this because we really want to do this as a group and kind of tell our story our way. Now, it ended up, they got to that point, and I think you can see the harmony in those three at certain points in this documentary when they're sitting around the table and having coffee and remembering singing and the harmonies and stuff like that. There are lovable moments with the three of them in this documentary. So maybe the beginning point of how they got there kind of sucked, but I think all three of them bought into this project. Certainly, we know Paul had no problem doing that. But George, I do think, ultimately bought into it and said, you know what, this is actually kind of cool, and I'll throw my weight behind it. Even though I kind of need to, I will.
I mean, he had a better attitude during the Yellow Submarine song track in '99 because him and Ringo kind of were, and a little bit of Paul, were promoting that on like VH1 and all the outlets. So
yes, he totally got behind it, but you see that Harrison cynicism creep in a lot in some parts of this documentary, and rightly so. I mean, James makes a good point here. This recently shown video of George at Abbey Road has a much improved attitude and space. Yeah, that's a great point. I remember that video that came out
recently, right?
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he was basically, I'm summarizing it, but he was like, "It's nice working with your friends again." That's what I'm talking about. So he did get to it.
But, you know, I mean, that might have been just his personality in general. I mean, he had that kind of dry personality in the 60s. So he's a
question here from Matt. How closely do the audio sets match the documentary's episodes content-wise?
It's a difficult. I mean, it's not 1-to-1, but there are pieces.
Right. I mean, so let's dial it back here now, right? So initially in America, it was broadcast over 3 nights. Right? Night 1, night 2, and night 3, 2 hours each. Okay. Then we got a home VHS release that was on 8 tapes. Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. So like 1, 2, and 3 of the VHS set would be mimicking volume 1, right? On Anthology. 4, 5, and 6 would be volume 2 of Anthology, and a little bit of 6 and 7 and 8 would be volume 3. Now, fast forward to 2003, we get it on DVD for the first time with a 5th disc of bonus stuff, which I think a lot of that material, I am sure, is going to creep into episode 9. I just hope it's not all what episode 9 is, which is some great stuff on that 5th disc, but it can't be all of it, you know? So you can't really quantify like episode and CD volume. You know, each volume of the CD represents a certain period. The episodes are broken up differently.
You'll hear That'll Be the Day in, like, you know, broadcast 1 or DVD 1, episode 1. I mean, you'll hear snippets of those home recordings, and in between, like, the concert interviews, you'll hear some of those clips. But I mean, you get Free as a Bird at the end of broadcast 1 as when the credits happen, and then you got that on the bonus DVD video in 2003. So.
Yeah, it was presented totally differently. And in the UK, this was broadcast on ITV, and it was done in 6 installments. So us here in America, we got it over 3 nights. In the UK, they got it over 6 nights. So it's I mean, I think we all got Free as a Bird roughly the same way, but it was broadcast differently. Jeff says here, well, I'm always in favor of the complete anthology video set, but the ABC airing of the 3 nights is a better watch. I agree.
It's more condensed, maybe flows it better.
Yeah. He said, I asked that question per your question, whether okay, right. Okay. Yeah. Let me catch back up here on the comments. Peter, let's see. Peter Jackson, let's see. James says, Peter Jackson seems like the man for the job. I'm hoping at the end of episode 9, Ringo finally makes it to the top of Mount Doom. Peter Jackson's one big fan. Well, listen, he has the keys to the kingdom, as he should. James says Paul took the high road and didn't. Well, no, because that wouldn't have done any good at all. Yellow Submarine song track. Yeah, again, that was a big deal too, and that came out in '99. Here in Hey Bulldog, that first remix when that came out. Remember that, David?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those remixes were revelatory.
Big time. Che says Beatles YouTube just dropped another video. Do tell. You can tell at times that Paul and George have been on the tee. Okay. Buddy says my favorite part of what we have seen of the 1990s footage is at the end of the Real Love music video and Paul and George hug. Despite it all, the lawsuits and drama, they were still friends. Absolutely.
Like Ringo said, when it came down, took out the bullshit, they were brothers. So.
Right. And, like I said, as we just said, it may not have started that way, but they think they reached that point, 25 years after a breakup, 15 years after losing John, they could get together and do this and do it in George's lifetime because he didn't have much more time with us, sadly, after this. James says, blink and you'll miss it. But did you ever notice the look Paul shoots when he says just the shorter version? Yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. That's when they're sitting in Friar Park, I think. Right?
So I know Anthony, or I'm sorry, Andy, I just wondering, like, what was were you expecting anything from those 94 summer acoustic sessions to be on Anthology 4 or bonus tracks?
I was hoping that would be some of that stuff would come out, but I mean, we've seen the best of it. It's already on YouTube, them sitting around doing Deradoon and I Will. And, I don't think, I mean, would I've loved it officially released as audio? Yeah. But I mean, we've got the best of that and it's already been released, then the stuff in the studio, Blue Moon of Kentucky, Thinking of Lincoln, and George is like, what, we're going to go play that song, and they just go into it. So I don't think that was ever going to get released as bonus audio, which I'm okay with. And we have it as bonus content. It's great.
Sure.
But let me see here. Will we get a physical Blu-ray for Anthology as we, well, that's a big question. I mean, listen, we pushed for it with Get Back and finally a year plus later, it finally came out. This one, I don't know, man. This would cost a lot of money to make, 5 or 6 Blu-ray set. I'm leaning towards no. Let It Be. If Let It Be can't come out and that's one film, then how are you putting out a 6 or 7 Blu-ray DVD disc set? I don't see that happening. What do you?
I'll find a way to get it physically. So, but
you'll make it. You'll make it if you have to. You'll gray market it and get it. But I just don't think they're gonna, Get Back. Fine, they released it, but if they're not even gonna make Let It Be, as Jeff is saying here, we never even got Let It Be on Blu-ray. And how hard would that be to make? If they're not going to put through, the machine to make this on Blu-ray, it's just not gonna. I can't see that happening. I hope it does, but let me see here.
Maybe that might be the release in 26 and everything gets pushed back to 27.
Oh, no. Yep. Yes, sir. On yellow vinyl, of course, the only way to get that. Probably my favorite uncovered gem is when they all found the footage. Yeah, when they were able to figure out the Hey Bulldog video footage and actually sync that up and actually make a new video, because it was supposed to be Lady Madonna. But
that got debuted on 2020, I think, with Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs. I had it on VHS tape. I was like, wow.
That was awesome. That footage, and I've always said the Lady Madonna Hey Bulldog period is like the last time the four of them really were like all together jamming before Alan Klein and Yoko and all that.
Well, yeah,
that's the last time you see the four Beatles in harmony.
That was early February of '68.
February of '68
before they went to India, and yeah, that was kind of like the last their naivety, their last innocence before things that were changing.
It's it. John's got the little chops going and the glasses and that's the last time I really see, I think, the Beatles before any outside people start, influencing
creeping
them,
in,
creeping in. That footage right there. So seeing that video, as Jeff is saying here, I can understand why the chills and the smiles, because it definitely, when you watch them and them just jamming out on Hey Bulldog and John and Paul are just having a whale of a time singing it. God, one of the probably best videos of the Beatles ever.
When it came out on OnePlus 10 years ago, I think that was one of the first videos I went to, because God,
yeah.
I love that weird era, after Magical Mystery Tour, but like before India.
Yep.
And between Hey Bulldog, Cross Universe, that's an awesome period.
Lady Madonna, yeah. Tony says, hoping we get chat. Well, we want to get Peter on this channel. Come on, Peter. Peace and love.
It might be longer than the Anthology if they get him talking.
It might. Peter Jackson, you have an open invitation to come on Two Legs anytime you like, or Hands Across the Water for that matter. James says maybe Anthology was an intervention for the three Beatles. I'm happy, and also a lesson for me to make sure that I have those important conversations at the people that matter to me. Well said. Well said. Matt says that all three could fit on 3 Blu-rays easily, meaning all you could. It's just, we know it can be done. It's like, do they want to?
It's interesting because there are smaller bands that do still put out Blu-ray, and there is a niche market out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it interferes now with like the Disney Plus exclusiveness.
David, do we know that the documentary is dropping on the 26th of November, which
Correct.
is the day before Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Do we know the dates yet for the other installment episodes yet?
To me, I think they're just going to throw it all up on there. I think they're not going to roll it out like Get Back. That's my personal opinion. I think they're
I think they're going to do it in 3 chunks.
Okay.
Maybe somebody in the comments can tell. I think they're going to do it in 3 chunks.
I didn't see it in the press release. It just said start streaming on November 26th.
They dropped the whole thing on one the night before Thanksgiving. Which
Hell yeah!
That's the best part of it, because that's when this came out. Which is for people like us. David and I are like, yeah, we're back to here, baby. We're back here.
I pissed off my family because I had to leave Thanksgiving early, typically, to go. I need to go back home and get to my VHS recorder and tape this. Because it came out on Sunday the 19th.
Sunday the 19th was part 1. Sunday, Wednesday,
Thursday.
And Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So the week before Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving, and then the weekend,
and Thanksgiving.
And then Thanksgiving, right. We'll see. Yeah, everybody's going to get Disney Plus for a month.
That's, so when everything came on ABC, because,
A Beatles C.
I mean, everyone was doing commercial. The Drew Carey Show, Home Improvement. I mean,
they all were promoting it.
Which Disney Plus is in the world of ABC still, so it's kind of
still under. Yeah, it's still the same.
But I'm not a. I can appreciate technology where you could just subscribe 1 month and watch it unlimited. When the George Harrison documentary dropped in 2011, my mom called like HBO. And through our cable networks, like, hey, can we get HBO for like a week? Okay, so they had to finagle that bill. But now just go to an app, you're like, okay, subscribe for a month, and hopefully you unsubscribe later, But technology is an interesting thing. It's convenient these days.
Could be, yeah. Susan says that Hey Bulldog video on 2020 gave me the chills. It's 2. It's still miraculous to me that they have video of the Beatles actually recording a song. Amen. Crack the vault. Crack it.
Oh yeah. Because when they were filming for the Hey Lady Madonna promo, they're like, "Well, you can just come in. We're doing a session for another song." I don't think they had time to do a physical song for Lady Madonna, and so I remember watching the Lady Madonna promo, and I'm like, it's not really syncing up. It seems like they're doing something else, and Yeah.
It wasn't syncing up. Tony, Paul concert and Anthology in the same week? Amazing. Yeah, because the Anthology is going to drop, and Paul wraps his tour up in Chicago on the 25th and 26th of November. Now, we were talking the other night. Do you imagine if Paul works in Free as a Bird or Real Love into a set list, including Now and Then?
Damn.
Clear.
Up the voltage.
Dead. If he plays Free as a Bird or Real Love and including to promote this in his set, I don't think he will. But God,
I'm shocked he has never done Free as a Bird in the last 22, 23 years with his new band.
It's because it is. You think. I mean, now's the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if he did Help in 1990, it's like
right. You've done Help. You've done A Day in the Life. Like he has no problem singing John lyrics, right? So, or do an I've Got a Feeling thing, part 2.
Yeah.
Right, and have the video playing, and then let Paul come up to the mic for his part, and then they could all sing it. I mean, just that kind of production for that song. Come on, maybe. We'll see. We'll have to see. But it's cool. I mean, the Anthology, the Paul tour, all good stuff. Let's see. I think it is time to pivot to trivia. An hour into the show. David, you ready to play scorekeeper?
Let me grab my piece of paper, maybe.
We've got 20 questions, baby.
Let me get some paper.
Yeah. Because we can do trivia. Get your pencils out, get your thinking caps ready, get your Chat GPT, Google, whatever. Joan will be flying home on the 26th. The release will ease the sadness of the last. Yeah, it will. Joan, I think he's going to play it. I really do. Maybe he plays it in Chicago. So those that go to Chicago, and don't think I didn't think about trying for an 8th show. I did. It's just, it is logistically impossible to get to an 8th show for me. 7's enough. Hopefully Paul doesn't say something like AI helped create Anthology 4. Oh, no. I think we've learned our lesson from that.
Well, like AI is a nice generic term, but if they actually, call it mal filtering software, I think it'd be less divisive.
Yeah, it's a 3-minute and 11-second ad for the music collection, but the visuals and sound quality is stunning, very exciting. Okay. Oh, that's the video he's talking about. Okay, the one that the Beatles posted. Thank you. Refill?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good luck, everybody, with trivia. You know I'm going to win. I always do.
You might know one. Okay. 20 questions. 3 of them are Beatles Anthology specific. The rest of them are all Macca questions. Okay. So, if you have won before and you're already in our Discord server, I don't know what to tell you because you're already in. Hopefully somebody, I don't have any prizes this week. But maybe somebody who might win is not in our server and you can join. But today it's just for bragging points. Susan, it's been a minute since you've won. And I think it's high time that you take that, reclaim that throne because you have won it. And in the past, it's time for you to win it again. Okay. So as a reminder, first comment that is in the comments is the right answer. Multi-part questions with answers with multi-answers have to be in one comment on YouTube. So if the answer requires 2 or 3 or 4 parts, it's got to be in one. Okay? So for number 1, here we go. Anthology related. What section of Liverpool was That'll Be the Day and In Spite of All the Danger recorded in? And us Yanks are going to have a tough time with that one. But if you're in the UK, you might know this one. What section of town was That'll Be the Day? Now, we know the studio, but where was that studio in Liverpool recorded? Where was it located? Where was it located? First, well, you know that song.
Whoa.
Oh, Susan got it. Spelled wrong, but it's correct. We're going to give it to Susan because she's the best. Kensington is the right answer. At Percy Phillips' studio in the Kensington section of Liverpool. Very good. All right. Thank you, David, for keeping score. I appreciate it. Yeah, and just do check marks. Just do check marks. That's what I do every week, David. If I by myself, I just do like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and just keep tally that way. But thank you, brother. The Dank. Kensington. Okay, question number 2. Okay, David's going to know this one. And feel free to play along too, because you are keeping score. What song was playing over the credits of the first night installment episode on ABC in November of 1995 before the premiere of Free as a Bird? What song was playing? What song was playing? It was a live performance of a Beatles song. And it said new Beatles song in 10, 9, 8, 7. What was the song that was playing? You don't have to give me the city. It's a live performance. Just give me the song.
I know it, but I'll let people go for it.
No. Nope. Black and white footage.
Yep.
Lizzie got it. Hello, Lizzie. You can't do that is the correct answer. Lizzie, 79, you're on the board. Susan, I'm surprised you thought you would have had that one. Ted, you also got it right, but a day late and $1 short. That's okay. We love Ted anyway. That's my Vegas guy. Ted and I are going to be in Vegas. Hot sound. So, and also, too, Dane Sawyer. We're going to have like a Two Legs fan in Vegas. And Tom will be there. And me and Jen, they'll be like, I think that's the show where the most of us are going. So, looking forward to seeing you, Ted. Next question. Okay, last anthology-related question for today. What song was originally going to be Paul's first lead vocal on Volume 2, but was scrapped at the last minute, causing MPL to cover the cost of the initial run printed? In other words, Volume 2 was already done being printed. And he said, I don't want that to be my first song, and they had to scrap it.
That's why they delayed it from February to March.
Correct. Do you know this? You know this answer?
Yeah, but I'll let other people go for it.
Yep. He had to cover he had to shell out because they had already printed, 250,000. I think 250,000 were already printed. And then he said, no, I don't want that to be my first song. What was that first song? Let's see. Nope. Well, the first song now is I'm Down, but it wasn't. He changed it to be I'm Down. Let's hope this one starts out pretty good, huh? Right? No. Nope. Nope. No. 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 Nope. Nope. Tim Elliott, hello.
I think I might have it. I'll just...
Ryan's got it.
Yeah.
That means a lot. Hello, Ryan. Nice to see you here on a Sunday. Hope you're doing well. That means a lot. Was Paul's first vocal on Anthology 2. And he said, I don't want that song on there. They switched it. I'm Down. And Paul had to cover the cost for them to be reprinted. Yeah. Which I would have been fine with that. David, you?
Yeah. I'm just shocked that how quick they did that. That must have been decided end of 95 because a lot of stuff got pressed.
Yes. That was supposed to come out, as you say, that was supposed to come out in February. And we had to wait till March of 96 to do that. Because he didn't want That Means a Lot to be his first appearance on the album as a lead vocal, which I love. That Means a Lot. I think that's a great song. I love it. Yeah, but listen, you can't argue with I'm Down, Next question. Here we go. All right, now we're moving into Paul territory. Paul Wings, some Beatles song, okay? And this is because I just saw the Who, so of course it's on my brain. What Who song inspired Helter Skelter? Cookie. What Who song inspired Helter Skelter? Yes, Tony D's got it. I Can See for Miles, which was going to be the dirtiest, grittiest song ever, and Paul got totally cheesed off and said, I'm going to write one better than that. And he sure as hell did. They dropped that from the set list the other night. That was what they played that on the opening night of the show, and then they dropped it.
Because they canceled the next 2 shows, so it must have been Roger was like, I don't feel like doing that.
They dropped I Can See for Miles, Bargain, which I was really pissed off. I was really looking forward to seeing Bargain, and 2 others, I think. Forget, but I was really looking forward to seeing it. But yes, Owen Ling is here, lover of extra texture. Yes. Yes, I Can See for Miles is the correct answer, but Tony got it first. So what is it? 1-1-1 right now? Everybody has a point each, right?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. This is now. We're going to get a little tougher now. Some people never know from Wings Wildlife has been performed live twice. Name the gigs and where they were played live. Where? Where were those played? Okay. That song has been played live twice. Name them. Song is Over was okay, Matt. I have a video I could send you that I shot on my phone. It was okay. It was like a truncated version, but it was sweet. Where was Some People Never Know played live by Wings? Name the gigs. I don't need the dates. Just give me the venue or the city. It's all hardcore Macca from here on out. Definitely the 72 tour. But where? What cities? As they're all going on now to search it up. We'll give it a minute. If nobody gets it, we'll move on. Yeah. I shared this copy with Denny Sywell. He was not familiar. He didn't even know that it was recorded. So when Tom and I had him and Fernando Perdomo on for RAM in 2022, I said, Denny, I have a recording of you playing this. And he goes, really? So I sent it to him and he goes, he couldn't believe it.
Wow.
He was really happy to know that was recorded. Nope. Come on, UK people.
One university to another university. It might be a true statement.
That's actually the right answer, but I need to know the universities. Nope. All right, we're gonna go on in a minute here with that because I don't think anyone's gonna get it. Joan, you're half right. All right, we're gonna move on. It's the correct answer is Manchester and Hull. So, give Joan half a point. Okay. Give Joan half a point because she was the only one who came closest on that one. Manchester and Hull. Not a great recording, but pretty cool and historic, and one that I was happy I could share with the guy who drummed on the track. Okay. Next question. Which producer was initially going to work on RAM with Paul and Linda, but walked away from the project? And again, from McCartney Legacy, you should know who this is. I didn't know this till reading the book. And Owen says you have a great beard.
Thanks.
What producer was initially going to work on RAM? No. Tony D. Ding, 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 ding. Of Chicago fame. Jim Gucciero. Yes. He was initially going to do it and then walked away. Very good. Glenn was later on. And there's a great, I want to thank James Martinez. I haven't watched it yet. There's a new interview with Glenn Johns and Rick Beato, about an hour long, talking about working with the Stones and the Who and all the Beatles and stuff. And I got to find time to watch that, but thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Okay. But it is that. So what, Tony's got 2? David, Tony has 2?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Joan, I would love for Alan Parsons to produce McCartney. Even now. Exactly. Yes. All right. What is the unreleased punk-inspired track that Paul recorded circa 1978? Do you know it, David? I don't.
Tony is on fire. Boyle Crisis is correct. Tom Brennan's here. Everybody's got it now. Tony is like lightning quick today, man. Boyle Crisis. Susan, where are you? You got to play catch up, girl. Come on. Boyle Crisis. Yes, is the correct answer. What's the rundown?
Tony D 3, everyone else 1, Joan a half point.
Okay, there's our girl. Okay. Next question. What charity single did Paul perform on in 2012? What charity single did Paul perform on in 2012? It was a cover song. And it was for Liverpool. It was for Liverpool FC. No. Nope. Probably, but Tony's already in the server, so he just gets bragging rights today. Nope, that is Ferry Across the Mersey was earlier. No, that was in 89. Nope. Surprised. He's on it with a lot of other musicians, but he closes it out. You could see him singing it in his home studio. Surprised. Come on, Joan, you know this. There we go. Lizzie got it. Lizzie 79. Yes, it was the tribute recording of He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother, the old Holly song. Yes.
So Lizzie's in the lead for an actual prize.
Okay, for an actual prize. Okay. All right. Yes. You remember that video now, David? Or no, not really?
I don't.
It's video of Paul at his home studio playing bass and closing out, singing it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. It is there. Okay. Multi-part answer for the next question. Okay. Name all the songs on London Town that were not recorded on the Fair Carol in the Virgin Islands. It's 6. These were all done before the trip or after the trip. Okay. I need all 6 in one comment. Throwing one answer out there ain't going to cut it. I need all 6 songs in one comment. And I have the dates to back up here. If we're not
sorry, Matt. He's like
calling Adrian Sinclair. Name all 6. And I'm going to give you all some time for this. Holy smokes. Come on now.
That's not right.
No. There's 6 songs. We'll give you all a minute or two to think about it. And if it's crickets for 2 minutes, that you're telling me it's too tough, Andy, move on. Fine. I'm going to put money on Joan for this one.
So Andy, when do you think Real Love's going to officially drop the 25 mix?
Maybe a month out. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a fair assessment. Don't want to throw it all out there.
No.
First week.
That 30 seconds that we heard, it's pretty cool though, right? On the video?
Oh, yeah.
I think this is going to be a drop 10 and punt, as my old high school coach used to say.
Everyone grab your books.
Another minute and we're going to move on. No. Morse Moose was recorded on the boat. Yeah. Do you think we'll get a new video too with Freeze a Bird with the new mix to accompany it or not?
That'd be really interesting, if Peter could find some new footage, because the upgraded HD 4K release has the 95 mix. I'd love to see that.
Let's have the new mix in sync with the new video too.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna wave a white flag on this one because it's too tough. The 6 songs were Name and Address, London Town, Children, Backwards Traveler, Cufflink, and Girlfriend. Those are the songs. And they were all done between February and March of 77 at Abbey Road. So, yeah, all except with the exception of, Name and Address, London Town, and Children were all February, March of 77 at Abbey Road. Backwards Traveler, Cufflink, and Girlfriend were October, November, December of 77. So those are your 6. So that was a tough one. So no points awarded. Moving on. All right. A relatively easier one now. What song from Back to the Egg did David Bowie suggest be a single to Macca? After that last question, this is an easy one. Come on. Easy. Do you know it?
It'd be just a guess.
No. Good guess, but no. I think Rick got it right, but we're going to give it to him. He meant the broadcast. David Bowie suggested the broadcast. So put Rick on the point on the scoreboard there.
Yep.
Yeah. The broadcast. That is the song that Bowie thought would be a single, which I'm glad it wasn't, because that wouldn't have been a good single. All right. Moving on. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Question
8,
11.
9, 10. Yeah. Here we go. What is the B-side to the 12-inch single of Press? Right there. That's it. Yes. What's the B-side? No. Mm-mm. Nope. It's not on the album, I'll tell you that. Nope. Hang Glide, Tony D. Correct. Hang Glide is the correct answer. Very good, Tony. Pulling away now. What's that, 4 or 5 for him?
4.
4. All right. Moving on. Okay. The 1989-90 band has 3 songs credited to all members. What 3 songs are they? Two are on Tripping the Life Fantastic. 1 was a single. I'll tell you that. I'll give you that much. Credited to Paul, Linda, Hamish, Robbie, and Wicks. And Chris Whitten, of course, too. It's 3 songs credited to that band. What are they? 2 on Tripping, 1's a single. Well, that's where I got most of these trivia questions from. That's where I got most of them from yesterday when I put these together. Come on, this is an easy one. It's not that hard when you think about it.
Do you think they'll drop any Anthology kind of preview clips?
I do, yeah. No. Nope. 3 songs. Got to be in the right answer. We're gonna wave the white flag on this one because nobody has put it in. Again, 3 songs and 1 comment. Party, Party, Inner City Madness, and Together.
Yeah, we give it to James.
Oh, I'll give it to James. He got it. There you go. He's already in the fam, though, too. There you go, James. You got it. Very good. Okay. Next one. Run Devil Run has 3 McCartney originals on them. Name those songs. Name the 3 McCartney original songs on Run Devil Run.
One of them's pretty easy.
Correct, because I gave it to you. I gave you one of them. Sorry, Susan. Tony again. MVP, you're funny. Yeah, Try Not to Cry, What It Is, and the title track. Okay. On that same vibe, Paul, what date did Paul return to perform at the Cavern, the replica, for the first time since August of 1963? Now, you don't have to give me the actual date. If you give me the month and the year, I'll take it. I don't need the actual date. I'll take month and year.
December 99.
Oh, give David a point. Give David a point. That was live on DirecTV. December of 99. Duke Viking gets a point. Yes. All right. Next question. What studio was nearly all of Driving Rain recorded at? The name and the city. Think about it. The whole album was not recorded in the UK. Recorded this in America. A whole album. I checked every track last night, according to Luca's book. You know it now?
Yeah, I know the city.
Mm-hmm. I'll even take the city.
LA.
Yeah, it was streaming. On fire. Matt, give it to Matt.
Yeah.
Give it to Matt. It was at Henson Studios in LA.
That's on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah. I looked at every track on Driving Rain was all recorded there.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
February of 2001.
Yep.
In March, I think.
Yeah, in early in the year. Okay. And you see these questions are going chronologically, so like they kind of flow. In what city did Paul open up the Back in the US tour in 2002? His first full-scale tour since Linda's passing. What city? And was anybody there? That was the first time I saw Paul. Was in 2002. But where and what city did he kick off? Because think about it, that's the opening tour of a new band, and that he still kind of goes with now. That still 20 some odd years later he's with. But they kicked it off in this city. Where? No.
Oakland.
2 for Duke Viking.
And I'll stop there. I'm just having fun with it.
Joan was probably there. She probably was. No, the New York show I was at, that wasn't until April 26th, 2002, I believe.
So think about this. He opened in Oakland, but he was in LA like the day after the Detroit show in May. So he went back and forth. Like logistically, that was interesting.
Very interesting. Yep. Okay. Easy one. If you watched the last Two Legs episode, which was our Chaos presentation in Chicago, name the 5 non-album tracks that are associated with Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Non-album singles, CD singles, things like that. There's 5 songs. James, you were right. 5 songs. Again, all in one comment, please. Recent, we just did this episode, so if you watched it, I touched upon all of them in the presentation. Let's see here. 3 more questions, and then we will wrap up the Sunday Live. Ted, James, let's see. Up. 1, 2. There you go, Tony. Give it to Tony again.
Number 6 for Tony.
Oh, very good.
Hey, Tony.
Detention. Monday, 3 o'clock. Late. Okay. It's a bit of an open-ended one. There is no I don't think there's a definitive answer for this. We'll see what the people say, and we'll agree on an answer. Name all the instances where Pete Townsend and Paul collaborated, live or in studio. I didn't fact check this one. I just thought about it off the top of my head. What do you think? There's a couple that come to mind, meaning they're not at the same gig. Like I wouldn't count like Live Aid, right? It could be one, right? Because Pete comes down at the end, I mean, Rockestra could be one. Okay. Campuchia. Right, so the actual rockestra performance in the studio for Back to the Egg, Campuchia. And maybe a crappy song on Press to Play. So, this might be an open-ended giveaway point. Well, that's one. Another one. The both of you will be in detention tomorrow. Tisk, tisk. We're going to give this to Susan Gagney. Rockestra, Campuchia, and Angry. You could include Live Aid because Pete came out with Paul on Let It Be, but I think Rockestra, Campuchia, and Angry is 3. Yes.
So has Susan won before?
Susan has won before.
Okay, so Lizzie's in the lead still with 2.
All right.
Don't count me. I'm just having fun.
2 questions left. I think, David, this is much more up your alley. What were the last McCartney archive projects issued on Concord before the flip back to Capitol?
Yeah.
You know it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to win, but I know it.
Right. Right. So, it started on Concord, the Starbucks Here music label. That ended, and then starting in 17, they all came out again on Capitol. But what were the last projects that were issued on Concord that were part of the archive collection? I'll take
and a hint, it came out in 2015.
Correct.
And it was a twofer.
It was a twofer.
Well, 2 releases.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Hello, Paul. Very educational. Thank you. Thank you for being here, mate.
Nope, James, that was 2018.
Nope, that was 2018, and that was on Capitol.
Think 2015.
Yes.
Think his 80s period.
No, don't give away. Tony got it. Beatley Tone on the board. He still has detention anyway, the old bugger. Susan got it too. We'll give her a complimentary point.
Yep. Tone and Susan each have a point.
Yeah, we'll give them a point each. All right. Yes.
Susan has 3.
Look at Lynn being the great cheerleader out there. I love her support. Every week, every live, she's always here with that. I love that. Okay, last question. And then we're going to say goodbye. Okay. What phrase did John Lennon allegedly utter when he heard Coming Up on the radio in the spring of 1980? And this was in a book that some people deem questionable, but I actually find it to be I think it's pretty factual. What did he say? What did he say? He was driving in the car and he heard Coming Up. And it's a little bit of a naughty word, but you can type it. If you read The Last Days of John Lennon by Fred Seaman, yeah. There you go, Susan. She didn't type it, but that's it. Susan gets the point. Yes. Like a pig, it's Paul. And it starts with the word F and it ends with the letter K. Yes. But he loved it. So what's our rundown?
So, Lizzie has 2 as the actual winner. Bonus points for Tony with 6 and Susan with 4.
All right. That's it. That's going to do it. Lizzie, send us an email if you'd like an invitation to join our McCartney Discord server where we talk about this stuff on and off the air. Sometimes it gets crazy with a lot of messages. Sometimes it's dormant, but there's a lot of good stuff there. If you'd like to, send us an email to twolegspodcast@gmail.com, and I will send you an invitation. No, Joe, it did not. Nice to see you here, though. But yes, I knew Joe would probably get that. He didn't put it in, did he? I didn't see the answer. No, I did not. But yes, that is what John said, apparently. And I believe that to be true because he did love the song. So, excellent. Yeah, twolegspodcast@gmail.com, and you'll join our little server. So I would like to thank the OG leg, David Gargolino, for joining me on this Sunday. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the invite.
No problem. It was nice to do this again after a few weeks, and oh, maybe that's why you can't have curse words on YouTube. That's why. So, no, it's good to be back. A lot of anthology news, Lennon stuff, and always I love that we're on the same page. We are in simpatico with this anthology stuff, and it'll be nice to go through all this stuff with you in the fall as it comes
absolutely.
out.
I look forward to it.
And just keep sending me more stuff. I'll take it all. I know you send stuff away. I'll take it. But I thank you. I thank you for that.
So as a kind of a gift to you guys or whatever, and however you want to share it, I'll kind of digitize my 95 broadcasts on VHS. There's local documentaries in between the episode broadcasts, and I did that 10 years ago, and I lost some of that stuff, and I actually had it on YouTube, and I got struck out. So I will send it your way to share it to whomever.
Thank you. That's the VHS rip.
Yeah, I could do my version of the broadcast or like the in between segments. So like Ted Koppel doing Nightline.
Sure.
After Wednesday's episode in 95. But
that would be great, because I have my VHS tapes, but I think they're buried somewhere. And, but if you have them, we could share them with the fam. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. 3 p.m. my time, which means dinner time for you. And if you're not there, I'm going to tell you off, and that's it. And it's going to be over. No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you, Susan. Lynn A as the cheerleader. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. We'll share that. We will share that out with the fam on Discord. So, absolutely. Everybody on the Sunday fam, thanks for being here. Good night. Cause I know it's very late for you. He's down under. I will be back in 2 weeks time on the 7th of September. Probably in an earlier time slot, 11 a.m. Eastern. Go for 2 hours and then go watch the New York Giants tank for a football season. But a lot of good stuff coming down the pike, and can't wait to share it all with you here on YouTube and in the Discord family. Stay tuned for a future episode for Two Legs coming down the pike this week. We're going to do a documentary review, and also Hands Across the Water is dropping tomorrow with a new episode with me and Tony and Kyle with our take on the anthology and all that good stuff. So for David, I'm Andy Nichols. Sunday fam, thanks for being here. Have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy the music, enjoy your family, and be safe. God bless. Take care.